So, wise people are those people who try to see beneath the shine and sparkle of life in order to find those qualities which will last, qualities which only God can give us. Money can never buy them.
I'd like to introduce myself again. My name is Brother Don, and I met Brother Trevor, who so kindly asked me to come here and share a brief section of my testimonies with you. We had a conversation a while ago. I think he overheard one or two things, but I didn't give him the full picture. I told him I couldn't do that if he invited me, so you'd have to wait like everyone else. My sermon is entitled From Dragon Deep to Brother Don. So from that title may give you a slight inclination what I was getting myself involved in. I'd like to turn to one Bible text. We should have to turn to it. We should not off Bible. It's Romans chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. It should be the anthem of our thoughts and of our minds. But just in case we've forgotten, I'd like us to review it again. So I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that we present our bodies living sacrifices, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your, and be not, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable, perfect will of God. I know ye are the divine, not easy ways. Cigarette smoking, wrong foods, drugs. But we're not going to talk about food today. Not that kind of food anyway. Because I want to talk about how I became a Christian and what led me to become a Seventh-day Adventist Christian rather than any other kind of Christian. Now, let's look at the word conform to begin with. To conform with any observe and follow, to hold and adhere to as something that is dear to us. To satisfy, to match up, to meet, to fulfill, to be in accordance with. These are dictionary definitions that I plucked from the Oxford Dictionary, so we will be in no doubt as to where we are. But before I go any further, I want to have a word. Heavenly Father, I know I'm excited to share the message of what you've done for me in my life, but I'm also that you could. And may your word live in us and ooze out of every pore out of our being. So as we speak, people will see and hear Christ. You will be truly lights in this world as my God. In Jesus' name. Now, I know that most of us don't want to conform to the world. True or false? Are we sure about that? If I was for your 7-day activity, thought for you, would you find it in yourself to say, in those 7 days, I have not conformed to God? It's a personal thought. I don't want no hands. Because I know that we all struggle with certain sins. So I'm asking us to basically lead to God as we go through not just today, but the hours and the days and the weeks ahead. Because God is coming for a church and the people without spot and without wrinkle. Now there's one thing I want to remind us of, is that we're in a battle. And this battle is for our minds. Satan doesn't want our bodies, he wants our mind. He goes about it in many different ways. good, one thing. I was speaking to a fellow, and he told me that he believes that there are three powers fighting. And I asked him what the three were. His answer, you should gather what kind of faith or religion he believes in. He said, one he believes is Allah. The second he believes is jinn. And the other he believes is Satan. Because on three different areas. That one I believe at the moment with caution. But we know there's two major powers, one for good, one for evil. Every wheat, so what is the mind? Which is also in Christ Jesus. I want us to get these things as a preamble before I speak, because I don't want us to lose sight of where we're going. I will be explaining things which may be different. I'm not moving away from God, but I want us to understand how the enemy works, but also how God works in His gracious mercies. So the mind is the element of the person that enables them to be aware of the world and their experiences, to think, feel, the faculty of conscience and thought. Sounds big, isn't it? But all it basically means is every decision that you make, every thought that you have, has to be in captivity to the Word of God. And you're going to say, I don't want to be captive to anything. But I'm going to show you something. If your mind is captivated to the Word of God, it will be captivated by the wiles of the devil. Now, the mind, a person's ability to think and reason, the intellect. We have young people in here, so I'm going to talk to the young people first, and then I'll work my way to the older people. Hope you don't mind. You don't. Synonymous with the brain, the intellect, intelligence, mental capacities. Now, the reason I bring this all up is because we know the battle is for the mind. And there's a sustained battle between two forces in this world. One spiritual and the other spiritual. Did you get that? They are both spiritual battles. But for some reason we've lost touch of that, and we believe that the battle has to be some sort of a demon that comes out of I'm the demon, you know, and the one we see in Hollywood is the guy with a red tail, two horns colored in red, in cartoons and stuff, and we believe that that is one version of the devil. Or sometimes we believe it's some sort of antichrist being who's going to appear at the end of the world, and he's going to be this tall, dark, handsome fellow, he's going to tell you, I'm Satan. That isn't how it works. Because we know, behind the scenes, as we are here today, there are angels of God in this room, but there's also angels of Satan in this room. You hear what I say? I want you to remember that. But don't be afraid, because he who is with us is greater than those who are. Do you believe that? I hope so. So, one of my dear texts. David is speaking to his son just before he's about to die. And he leaves him with this particular verse. It says, Thou, Solomon, my son, know thou the God of thy father, and serve him with a willing mind. For the Lord searcheth all the hearts and understandeth all the imaginations of the thoughts. If thou seek him, he shall be found of thee. But if thou forsake him, he will cast thee off forever. That condition is still applicable today. We know the text, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy might, and thy neighbor as thyself. Take it from Matthew 22. I know I'm doing a bit of revision, but there's a reason why. I want us to bear this in mind. We're going to pull the slides now while I go into the main subject or discussion. I was 8 years old when I first discovered the entity called Satan. Anyone in the room was 8, 9, 7? Any 8-year-olds here? 7, 6? Yeah? But it wasn't as you think it was. Because growing up, I did not believe in anything such as ghosts or demons or spiritual entities. I was a carefree young individual who was blessed by my parents to be sent to the most beautiful island in the world, I'm sorry to say, Barbados, where I stayed for approximately 10 years. And in that time, I learned a great deal from a wonderful woman by the name of Mrs. Millicent Green. I looked upon her like my mother. She was the dearest, sweetest, kindest, most loving person who showed me an image of Christ that has always stayed in my heart. But the enemy wasn't happy with this beautiful picture. So he sent people to torment me at a very early age. By 3.5, I was asked to go to school because I was reading and writing, which some people say, fantastic, excellent. I think it was very unfortunate. You all look very shocked. It was very unfortunate for a 3.5-year-old child to be placed into a classroom with children bigger than him, who will bully him and beat him for at least 8 years of his life, 2 to 3 times a day, because they saw him as different. On another view, I think it is a shame that we are putting our children into schools to be raised by strange people who do not follow the Lord. That is one for discussion in the afternoon. But to get back to the point, I was raised in this home of a loving woman. My parents had taken me to Barbados at 3.5 years old, and I was experiencing a wonderful, beautiful time. Even though I was being tormented at school, I used to have to run home every day with my satchel stretched up behind me and with at least 5 boys chasing me. I became reclusive. I withdrew from people. I withdrew into books, and I read loads of books. By the time I was 8-year-old, I was reading Joan of Arc and all different kind of novels. But by the time I was 8, a seed was sown in my heart about who Jesus is. I didn't know much about Jesus. We went to a Pentecostal church, and the Pentecostal church, although it was nice, they had some very false doctrines, like the dead being able to come back to life and roam the streets until something happened to make them go to rest, or the dead who believed in Jesus going straight to heaven when they died. Because for some reason, they never said the bad person went to hell. Every time you go to a funeral, and I've been to quite a few, oh, he was a lovely person. Oh, except for one, sorry. One funeral, where, I'm not going to say where the people refused to put the coffin in the hole. When they were saying the obituaries, the sons turned their back and said, good riddance. But besides that, I can remember going to a funeral at a specific day and sitting on the side of a cornerstone of a, those little piers they have for the girls. He looked at me, she says, don't do that. That doesn't do anything. They're in the grave, they're dead. And she says, son, do not do that. She warned me 3 times. I paid it no heed and decided to run through the graveyard and all the different stones like a kid, 8-year-old playing. Needless to say, I thought, but something very strange happened that very same night at 12 midnight. I will give a very small account because I can see some small faces. So I'm going to have to pray see it, and those who want the greater details can see me later. But all I can say to you is this. Even as I describe it, I hope you don't get too fucking because it because what happened to me, it don't happen to me. I needed to go to the toilet really badly. And in the West Indies, I'm not sure, it's not like that anymore in most places, but they had something called an outhouse. The toilet was always away from the main building. And there was a little kerosene lamp on the table, flickering very lightly, and you would have to take this kerosene lamp outside and walk, I don't know, probably the other car park behind us there, and open the door and go to do your business. But on that specific night at 12 o'clock, I heard, oh! And then another dog started, oh! And by the time I was ready to go to the toilet, there were about 15 dogs doing the same chorus continually. And I'm thinking, oh no, I'm going to go to the toilet. And I'm there, somebody turn on the light, please. I want to go to the toilet. But that's how I spoke, you see. And so I'm there, my knees are like this, and I'm thinking, I don't want to get up because something is happening outside. I don't want to go outside. It's never happened before. So I got to my brother and I'm shaking him. Oh, wake up, I want to go to the toilet. They were moving, it's like a dead man. Winston, wake up. I shaking them so they didn't move. I said, oh no, it means I've got to get up and go to Auntie's room. I don't want to go out to Auntie's room. So as I got up, the light was still flickering. I got up, I went to her room, and as I was going to her room was like on this side, strange enough, and that door where there was where the front room was. I heard some noises in the front room. I said, oh, Auntie's up, excellent. She can take me to the toilet. So as I walked towards the front room and opened the door, in the rocking chair was something huge. As it sat down, it was this height, as in from down there. And as it stood up, it towered over me nearly 8 to 9 feet in a very dark cloak. I rushed back to my bed and covered my face. Oh no! And as I laid in my bed, all I could hear was shh, shh, and I opened the door. Why it made that noise? I never know. It never did before. And it reached in and grabbed me by my neck. I'm not even going to tell you what it looks like. And I screamed the loudest scream, but I couldn't hear a single echo of my voice. Before long, I was whisked off into another place. I don't know. I couldn't describe it to you. It was completely grey. Like there was a fog all over mixing around me. And I came up shivering in fear as this unbelievable, hideous looking creature decided to take up this great big sword and try to kill me. Before it did that, it said, young fella, I am coming for your soul. And I'm thinking, Lord have mercy. I don't know who to call on. I'm in this strange place. I can't recognize anything around me, and I am terrified. And it swung this big, almost sickle-like sword to my head. What would you do? Automatically you raise your hand. As I raised my hand, it's almost miraculously a light appeared with a shield of light, reflected the blow of this creature. And as this creature kept hacking at me, light appeared, and wherever this strike hit the light, it turned into armor on my body. And eventually my whole body was covered in armor of light. This carried on for almost the whole night until eventually daylight came. And as daylight came, this creature let out a scream. It wasn't even quite there, like dawn was coming. And I was whisked back to my room. And I appeared back in my room again. What's going on? And it made a shrieking noise, and it says, I'm coming for you when you're 18. I'm coming back for you when you're 18. Now, I'm laying in my room, terrified. I don't know what's happened over the last few hours, but this is my first experience with something supernatural. I am there, I've got this thing in my hand. It's part of the cloak of the thing was wearing, and I rush quickly to my auntie saying, Auntie, Auntie, trying to blurt out what happened. I spoke to her very quickly. She looked at my hand, and she looked at me, she went, take that and put it in the toilet now. She didn't question me, she just, I don't want to see it ever again. So I took the piece of cloth, black cloth, and dropped it in the toilet. Now the toilet we had was one of those old-fashioned toilets that I hope we had them in England, where there's like an underwater stream, and it would take all of the refuge up to sea. That's my first encounter with something spiritual, supernatural. And from that day, I have been plagued with demonic experiences until my baptism. Did you get that? Until my baptism. I didn't say it stopped at baptism. I'm just saying that there was no effect on me until that particular time. Now let me run you through, fast forward you to why I've got from Dragon D to Brother Don. Now, you've had this supernatural experience and you don't know what to do. I've spoken to my auntie, she said, let's pray about it. And the more I prayed, the more demons I saw. One occasion, my auntie's husband died, and then he appeared in the room. And he looked at me, he called me to come to him. But I didn't want to go to him because there was something different. And so I picked myself up and ran and squeezed myself up to Auntie as quick as possible. And she says, boy, what's wrong with you? And I said, Granddad is here, Granddad is outside. And as I spoke, he floated in the room and turned and looked at me. But those eyes told me it wasn't. From that moment, I decided I want to find a way to defeat this creature, these creatures. I could stand here all day and tell you about all the different encounters, but I will not do that. But what I did do was I decided I was going to find a way to counteract the devil. Now, how do we do that as Christians? Silly question, I know. How do we do it as Christians? You pray. That's what it is. Do you think so? Do you know anyone who are going through anything of this sort? And if you are, you can talk afterwards. You don't want to say it out loud. But do you know anyone who have these kind of encounters? Because in the church, I have found that there are lots of Seventh-day Adventists going through these kinds of visitations. And they are too scared to talk about them. And there's always a reason why, but I'm not going to go into that bit now, probably in the afternoon. I decided I was going to try and find a good Christian church or brother or sister who's going to pray with me, and voila, all my problems solved. Isn't that true? The Bible says so, doesn't it? What does the Bible say when we have issues of spiritual nature? We know the text. Come on, give me a few texts. So? Pray about ceasing. Okay, but in the time of a spiritual attack, how would you pray? For the elders. The Bible says, remember there was a man with a son who was afflicted by a demon, and the demon kept throwing him into the fire. Jesus was on the mountain with his 3 disciples, and he brought them to the other 9, and what happened? They couldn't do anything. When Jesus came down, what did he say? Oh, ye faithless and generation, how long shall I be with you? And then what he said, bring the child to me. When the child was being brought to Jesus, he was throwing himself all over the place. Jesus cast him out. And when the disciples asked, why could we not cast him out? What was the answer? This for does not go by prayer and fasting. How many times do we pray and fast during the week? How many times? When was the last time any of us in this room prayed and fasted? I'm not talking about fasting from television, or fasting from a physical program, or fasting from a sweet, or fasting. That's not fast. When Jesus fasted, he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm saying to you, we have got to fast in the way the Bible prescribes, so we can have victory over sin and temptation in our lives. Fast forward, I'm in England. 13 years old, seeing the same old things, because I had a strange belief that when I got to the plane and flew to England, the demons were going to stay right where they were supposed to be. Because there was an old stupid superstition that said, well, demons can't cross the water, you know. Never can't go across water. No, it was a stupid lie, and I believed it. Anyway, as I kept going to school, as you had to, I encountered the very same situations in England as in Barbados. The only difference is, I have now got a Bajan accent, right? I talk like this. And when I go to the church, and when I go to the school, everybody laughing at me. And I had problems when I was in school. The issue I had was that the same kind of boys who were wanting to beat me in Barbados somehow happened to be in the same school I ended up in England. And so, morning, break time, lunchtime, and evening, guess what I was doing? I was fighting. And at night times, I had my favorite friends coming to visit me. They weren't my favorite friends, were they? So what would you do? I said, I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone. I wanted to learn how to fight these boys. And the second thing is, I wanted the spiritual power to take on the demons. So one day, I got a very interesting idea, because I used to have dreams as well. And some of my dreams would actually come true. I dreamt about Hadrian's Wall. And I didn't know what Hadrian's Wall was. So I decided to go into the library, because in those days there was no internet. You wanted to find out anything, you had to go to a library. And you go to the library, you picked up books, and you read the books. And I was directed to specific books that would have the Hadrian's Wall picture, the same I dreamt in my dream. And then all of a sudden, I had dreams I was a Roman soldier. I lived in the early Britain around 100 AD. And things that were happening were so real, it made me feel that I was part and parcel of this specific Roman centurion army. And things would happen to let me see that, hey, you know exactly where this is. I'd go into books and it was all there. And I'm thinking, that's not really true. Why? Because the enemy was working overtime on my mind. Because he wanted to win my mind. So by 14, I decided to go look for books that I could find, guess what? Spells. Because I was 14 years old now, and 18 was just around the corner. If you were told in 4 years' time somebody's coming to kill you, a demon, and you go to all the Christian churches and you ask them to pray for you, and people looked at you and go, oh, sorry, we don't do that. And one of the churches I went to in this country, a Methodist church, just around the corner from where I live, they actually looked at me and went, oh, nice to hear from you, young man. See you later. Because no one knew how to deal with demons. In the 20th century, can you believe that? So I went to my own library in Wopo Park, and I opened one of the, it's almost like a picture out of Harry Potter. Not that any guys would have known about it. So I took that one in very quickly. And I found a very old book in the basement of this library, written in old Anglo-Saxon English. And I opened the book. It's about this big. And I looked at the writing. And at the first glance, I could not understand a word because it was in. But the more I looked, the more I understood. And I kept going back to read the inscription on these books and started to learn spells. They were stupid, silly spells. How to make a girl fall in love with you. I'm sure no boy thinks about that. I want a girlfriend at 40. I want a girlfriend. Who wants a girlfriend and boyfriend, yeah? Wrong. Now the issue is, those were stupid things, and how to make this person run away from you, and I realized I was wasting my time because time was running out. By the time I hit 16 though, I found some more serious stuff, How to put barriers against you, against evil spirits, and how to call people when they didn't least expect it. In other words, you can sit down, I'm not going to use the word, but visualize the person doing something. I'm not going to tell you how. And if you do it long enough in a certain way, that person will come at your door. Or that person will make a phone call to you. And it actually happened. So, if that started happening, what would you do? You delve into it deeper. By the time he became 16, I met my first martial arts instructor, Kung Fu guy. He was about this high. Well, he was very flexible and very, what word could I use? Very impressive specimen. Because even though he was this high, he could jump that high. He could put his leg, this one, straight up there, and eat his dinner in the other hand. We used to call him rubber legs because he was very flexible. To prove his flexibility one day, because he wanted me to become a student, he got me to put one of his legs on this shoulder and my brother's shoulder, and we stood up and we bounced in the middle. It was an unusual feat. So after watching this, I was like, wow, he's going to become my teacher. But he was a hard taskmaster. And he made me run 7 miles just as a warm-up before I trained. After that training session, I couldn't walk properly for 3 days. So I said, no. But because I kept seeing things, I kept witnessing issues of spirituality, I knew that I'm 16 now. 2 years left. The demon is coming. What are you going to do? So I decided to find myself and drove myself into martial arts. And that was where the situation got worse. By 18 now, no more sort of spiritual visitations. I would see things happening, I would hear things walking up and down the stairs, but nothing actually came to me and go anymore. So I thought, hey, I'm cool. The stuff that I'm doing is driving them away. Oh, the stuff that I was doing was giving them access directly to me, without me realizing. And by 19 years old, I was invited to go back to Barbados to go and stay in the same room as this creature came to see me. What would you do? No, I went. I went now because I'm jumping bits. My wife is looking at me, I'm jumping bits, and I'm thinking, no. So I was invited back. I slept in the same bed. Nothing. I was like, yes. My spells are working. Yes. My channeling is working. Do you hear what I'm saying? My spells are working. My channeling is working. Are we meant to be working spells and channeling? Does the Bible warn us against this? By 18, I've joined a martial arts club. It was a club called Wushikuan. And they were a bunch of brothers, serious Jamaican brothers. They're not taking any stuff from anybody. No, they didn't speak Jamaican accents, by the way. They were born in England, just like me. A bit more cockney, like, you know what I mean? Chest out, face all fixed. And when you got into that club, they would beat the living daylights out of you. I got kicked around for 1 whole year. I was a walking punch bag. And I thought, you know what? This is working. And then you're going to say, how can it be working? Well, I came up with a strategy. I will go and fight the strongest, toughest guys in the club. And if I can take what they dish out, I can take anything from anybody. So after year 1, I told the top one, we used to call him Animal, for obvious reasons. He was an animal. He'd beat the living daylights out of you, leave him on the floor, and sometimes, if they feel good, if they felt that you were in serious trouble, they'd pick you up and take you to the hospital. And once I got beaten so badly, I had a cracked sternum. By 21, I was able to defeat everyone in that club, save 2 people. And I found it was time to move on. Because I realized that I wasn't learning enough. I could jump over 5 guys and break bricks, I could punch bricks, I could kick bricks, I could slap bricks and break them. But I knew it was something else. Because I met a Chinese guy, and this Chinese guy was doing some very interesting things. And I asked the Lord, help me, Lord, because I need you. He's been praying to the Lord, you know. I'm praying to the Lord to help me to become a better martial artist. Without realizing which Lord I'm praying to. You've got to get this. What happened next was amazing. Not amazing in a good way, amazing in a bad way. I came across a Chinese guy who was very, very insulated. He had a club in Westbourne Park. And he had this very interesting thing. He wanted me to walk around in horse riding stance. You know what horse riding stance is? This position. To walk up and down for 1 hour in that position. To strengthen your legs. And I said, no, I don't want to do this. But I did it because I was willing to learn. I wanted more. After 2 months of doing the same thing, I said, no, I'm going for that. Moved to a different club called Shaolin Fist Kung Fu. After 6 months, I sort of rose up in the ranks, not during the bouts, but during the fighting. And I beat most of the guys in the club, including the instructor. So then I moved to a different club. And this is the club that made a difference. You'll never guess what the name of this club is. Yellow Dragon Fist Kung Fu. Now we all know what the dragon is, don't we? But from a martial arts perspective, the dragon is the most powerful being on the planet. Did you know that? In martial arts. Second to the dragon is the tiger. So I asked myself, what do I want to do? So I decided I was going to go and allow myself to get immersed in it. But the guy said to me, there's one thing you've got to do. You've got to come and visit the temple. I then found myself going to the Buddhist temple and learning about Buddhism, learning about Hinduism. And the more I learned, the more I wanted to know. Because what this guy did was something amazing. But like I said, it wasn't amazing until after you look at what he did. He got his hand like this. And he said, come, do dips on my arm. You know what dips are? You pull yourself up your whole body. Oh, he will do it again. He said, no, come do dips on my arm. I looked at him, he was about this height. I said, no way. No, come do dips on my arm. And believe you me, the guy put his arm out, and I did dips on this guy's arm. And I said, oh my God. I got involved in the Buddhism, but the one thing that really got me is that I could not bow to the idols. I'm not sure if anyone has seen any Jackie Chan movies, hopefully not. But usually, I'm saying hopefully not because I'm under the impression that most of you were born and brought up in the Sunday Baptist Church. I've got to get out of jail free card because I wasn't. And so you sit down cross-legged and you'll be doing this banging against the things and all these different hummings which I'm not going to repeat. And I'd be the one like this. Because I was bored stiff. I can use that word. I was bored stiff. I don't like using it in any other way though. But what happened was this. I went from being a normal physical practitioner of Kung Fu into the spiritual practitioner of Kung Fu. And when I learned I felt something different, I decided to go and test it out. I went on the street and I would go to the bad areas where the really bad guys were, the really tough guys. And what do you think I would do? No, I didn't go to fight. I went on the turf to stretch myself. I'm the new guy in the block, innit though. So I go down, I stretch myself, and the moment you're walking down and you see looking cocky, they're like, wait! What are you doing on my turf? And before you know it, you know what happens. A fight ensues, And I was able to, and this is where the Lord showed me something. Because I'm sure, should I like that one? There was a film out a few years ago called The Matrix. No one's heard about that film. Good. And so, in The Matrix, some people would speed up and slow down in the film, in the fighting scenes. But before The Matrix was out, because I got baptized in 1995, I just thought I'd leave it there. I experienced the fact that when I went to fight these bad guys, they moved in slow motion. So if you were fighting me, you'd be moving like this. That's how I saw you in my mind. And so I was able to defeat many guys, many opponents, probably up to 10, because even doing so with my eyes closed, because we had a special training method where you blindfold yourselves, and you would try to visualize your opponents in your head. When I got to this stage, I started doing Buddhism for about 3 years. But one thing happened that made me leave the Buddhist sect. One day I was visiting, and as I got to the door, to knock to be entered, to be allowed to go into the actual building, a voice said, "Don't go in." So I turned around, because I'm in Chinatown now, I'm hanging out with the Chinese a lot. No one behind me. It happened 3 times. And the 3rd time, I decided I was going to go back home. 2 days later, one of the people said, "Where were you on Sunday? We needed you. We were under attack by," the words he said was, "spirit beings from the other martial arts club. And Master was under attack, and he was spirit traveling to try and help his family because they were sent demons to kill his family." What? Now, my eyes got open here because as far as I was concerned, I'm doing martial arts. I'm doing a higher form of pugilistics. In other words, fighting art. Boxing was beneath me. We didn't do boxing. Boxing is for the uneducated. We didn't do, fisticuffs. No. That was for those people who just want to brawl. We didn't brawl. We fought with flair. You ever seen martial art moves? Look like you're dancing, right? So I want to fight and look good. But what happened was that I was picking up all the Buddhist and Hindu teachings without realizing it. And when this guy started telling me about what happened at that club, I said, whoa, little alarm bell rang, ding! And the stuff that my aunt, Miss Millicent Green, taught to me about as a little child, resurrected. And I came to the conclusion, very quickly, that I had to leave that club. They tried to get me back, and they had a Shaolin monk come from China to actually give a special seminar at this place. And they took pictures. "Don't look at this! Isn't this marvelous?" What? He's just wearing an orange gown and looking, all holy. No. Look carefully at the picture. And as you looked at the picture, behind this guy was a flaming shape in the shape of a dragon. About this high, in every picture. I said, you know what? Time to leave. Now, at that time, there was a transition. I was in Chinatown, hung out with the Chinese a lot, and almost got involved in triad games. But that's for another time. What happened next was this. I met someone in Chinatown. You ever heard of Chinese New Year? They usually have Chinese martial art exhibitions out there. I met a guy called Mr. Han there, and he transformed my thinking about Chinese martial arts. My level of martial arts, when I met him, I thought was good, it was bad. And he says, "I will teach you, and I will make you become better than you are now." And for the 3.5 years I spent with Mr. Han, I was like an indoor student. You know what an indoor student is? You would go to the normal classes, but you would go to the Chinese teacher's house. And he would teach you with all the scenes, all the black belts. And I would do it in winter, when it's cold and the ice is on the floor, that's when you're training. No coat, you're in a t-shirt and you're doing your stuff in the garden. That was to see if you were determined to become his pro student. Eventually what happened But I got to the stage where I was able to channel chi. What are they saying? Channeling chi is meant to be an inner power that we can pull down from the earth, pull from the earth, pull down from the sky, pull from the trees and the rocks. That's what they tell you. But chi is actually a demon spirit. That once you open yourself to these certain breathing techniques and movements, that demon can come and take control of you. There are some churches practicing a very similar breathing techniques. It's called spiritual formation. It's called contemplative prayer. Do you know that? A word of contemplative prayer. It is in our church. It is in our ranks. And it is very similar to what I learned when I was trying to channel demons. But the turnaround was this. I remember looking at the time. I had to find a way out because after a while I became really good. I was able to do things that were nearly impossible to do. My wife experienced one of my not so good things. I mentioned this because even though I got baptized, I hadn't fully left it behind. And one thing happened. I met with Jesus Christ on the day when my son and I had an encounter. We had it slightly. Mine was true womanizing. Because when you go into martial arts, you open the doors for all sorts of things. I wasn't a womanizer before. If you met me 25 years ago, you would never have gotten 2 words out of me because I was very shy. But in the martial arts, it gives you, they say, it gives you self-confidence and self-defense and self-this and self-that. So what happens? You build up self. Now, probably there's no one here who does martial arts. Or anyone who sends their children to martial arts. Because if you do, you are giving your children over to a demon to possess. That's the easiest way of putting it. Now, the other thing I want to go into is this. How I became a Seventh-day Adventist was one day I was leaving my friend's house and I had one of the most horrendous experiences ever, where a demon was chasing myself and my friend. And we had to run for our lives. Now, I know it was God that actually picked us up and moved us. West Kensington, Earl's Court. How long do you think it'll take you to run that?
From West Kensington?
Yeah, to Earl's Court.
Physically running?
Yeah, a couple of miles. How long will it take you?
It take you about 45 minutes to an hour.
I did it in about 3 minutes. But I knew it was God. I knew it was God. I know you guys, I'm glad you guys know the distance. My friend and I were running from this demon, and all of a sudden it's like, I ran, I'm right outside my house. The hostel that I stayed, because I was homeless as well. That's another story for later on. Can't give you everything now, you have to come back for the meaty bits. And that night, we were walking past his house, and the demon chased us. We ran, we got back to my place. Well, right next to my place is a, guess what? Cemetery. You guessed it, right? And as we were running, we got there, there's smoke. Crosses the road. And in the smoke, you could see mouths moving. You can't go any further. We are going to get you. And I'm thinking, what's going on? And my friends go, don't be in trouble. I said, forget that, just run. Keep running. So we ran. We went to my room in the hostel that I was staying in. And you know what happened? He shut that door. And something changed in my way of thinking. Even though I had all this so-called martial arts skill, I could channel. I could send people from here to over there without touching them. I could actually physically move you without touching them. I was able to sit down in my mind, and if you were to do anything around me, I can tell you what he will do with my eyes closed. Not realizing the devil had manipulated me so much that he had entered into me. I remember going to sleep that night with my friend on my couch, and I prayed a prayer. I can't even remember what the prayer was. And a few days later, I had no choice. At the same time, I had a Bible because I was studying architecture. And I picked the Bible up and started reading. Angel of the Lord guided me this way. And eventually, I came to the conclusion that I had to become a Christian to stop the demons from coming to me. But which church? Which church? I know I'm missing out quite a bit more at the time. I decided to travel to the Pentecostal this, Pentecostal that, Church of God this, Catholic that, Church of England this. I went to all different churches you can think of, but I did not want to go near Seventh Methodist Church. No. Because I remember them from back home. Funny people then. Don't eat meat. Don't watch TV. Don't do this and don't do that. Oh, I want to join a church like that. So I went to every other church but the Seventh Methodist Church. Now, my friends and at this time, I was in university. Now, this is a different twist. Later on, you get more details. And I am actually in the university, and there's a Seventh-day Adventist friend of mine, and he invites me to the youth day. Now, here's how he got me to go to the youth day. Don! Lots of gal there, you know. Come, lots of gal. You know how you like gal, innit? Lots of gal. So, guess what? Don ends up in church on Sabbath morning. And we went to Wood Green Church. And there's a man called Elder Cunha. Elder Cunha. Oh Lord, bless the Lord for Elder Cunha. Anyone knows Elder Cunha? Yes. Serious man of the Lord, yeah? My man licked down 2 sermons, Lord have mercy. I was like this. And before you know, he made the altar call. Like, listen, you know how Wood Green Church is like, innit? They've got the big long, benches. And I like the way they have the elder with the stick that can poke you when you're sleeping. He was doing that day though. Anyway, he didn't have to poke. But I was sitting at the very far end, next to the window on the left-hand side. And when he was making this altar call, I floated out and ended up at the front. And my friend says, "Tom, what are you doing? What a girl! What are you doing, man?" But the altar call this man made touched my heart. And I cried like a baby in front of the church. Now you would never picture what I look like. I'm sure none of you saw the Wesley Snipes Franco play. You never seen that again. But anyway, I was dressed in a long black leather jacket, black leather boots, black studded belt, black everything, black glasses, black. And my hair cut up. Look quite like this, but shh. My wife can tell you, ain't wifey. When I turned up at your church, you were for, what in the world is that? They did, you know. Anyway, that day, I went home and the Holy Spirit started talking to me and called me and told me I should make my mind up and do what I must do. So I can remember now thinking, oh no, all the churches I have to go. Oh man. And my mum goes to that one just down the road from her. You know what? I'm going to go and visit her. So I go to the church. I'd arrive probably around 12:30. Stand up at the back. Making sure my friends didn't see me. And I would leave the nightclub on a Saturday morning and go to church. You get that? I wasn't baptized though, but I know there's someone walking through that though. You know that? Someone used to that. Leave the nightclub on a Friday night and go to church on Saturday morning. And some of them even end up on the pulpit. How do I know that? Because when I went to one of the churches I was visiting, I would say, and they're leading out in the song service. They're walking around giving out, doing the tithe and offering. Lord have mercy. And I'm talking about 22 years ago, mind you. So if that happened 22 years ago, what do you think is happening now? Anyway, let's get back to what I was talking about, because I didn't get that one in. So, how do I get baptized? I keep going to church, and eventually, my mother decided that she has to get me baptized. My wife, who wasn't my wife at the time, we didn't even know who each other were. Her father was asked to give me Bible studies. No, that's not how it happened. So I'll get you right there. That isn't how it happened. So her father for a while, but before that, the Lord pressed upon my heart. He says, you don't need to study with me, sister. And I got baptized on the 19th of August, 1995. Gave my life to Jesus Christ. Now, the reason why I always tell this story over and over again because it's a very important story. How much time have I got? 5 minutes. I can do a lot in 5 minutes. Should I do the speed up? No. I can usually speak very fast. Right, what happened after this is that I got baptized and it felt as though I was walking on clouds. I'll explain it to you. There was a sweetness that I never tasted before in my life. I had done some wicked things. I had been evil, I had been a bad womanizer. I've got 3 previous children from 3 different women. And I said to myself, no self-respecting woman is going to marry a vagabond like me. And so I decided I was going to become a missionary. That's it. Not only could I do God's service, but I don't have to worry about women because most women don't want missionary anyway because it's poor. It's true. It's true. I know what is happening. I'm saying this for a reason. This is a question. The Sabbath day is something that's going to deter between receiving the seal of God or the mark of the beast. And if we continue to work on this day, we have made our alliance already. We have made up our minds. We're going to serve Mammon, and you're going to serve him with the hand, but we won't receive the mark in the foot. We will receive it in the hand though. Very important to remember this. Last thing. I decided I was going to work, but I couldn't work on Sabbath. And you know what jobs I kept getting? Sabbath and nightclub bouncing jobs. Because that's what I did before. Details in the afternoon. Good morning. Anyway, one day, the 31st of August, you get that? 31st of August. I got baptized when Lord have mercy, what happened? Anyway, I am at this place and the Lord is talking to my heart. Don, what are you doing here? Do you think what he said? No, he didn't say that. I'll see what he said. What doest thou here, Elijah? What doest thou here, Elijah? What doest thou here? And it was beating me up all night. I said, Lord, please, I've got no money. I've got no money. I need money. I can't get any job. For 1 whole year, I couldn't get a job. Because why? They want me to work on the Sabbath. But the Lord is something beautiful. The Lord, from that moment, after we went, that night, I did that job. And 2 men challenged me, 2 other bouncers. They wanted to beat me up. They said, we're going to beat you up, mash you up, man. Your mom going to recognize you now. In other words, your mom ain't going to see your face and know who you are, right? So I'm thinking, guys, I'll tell you what, after work, I will come and deal with you. 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm working for £120 for 4 hours. Come on, guys. Get it? My money. So I go, I get my money. The guys are wrestling and saying, we train you, this person and that person will beat you up. And I sat there, some exercises I'm going to show you. And before you know it, my eyes turn red. And I say, hello, boys. So guess what happened? The same demon, from the outside, say, Lord have mercy. What do you do now? I know I'm in trouble because I am not controlling my body. I'm not controlling my voice. The guys who I'm working with, they go, and the two guys who want to fight me, guess what they do? Who's they run? They're gone. My train is gone a long time, can't see them. Now the guys I'm working with, guess what they do? They say, oh, we think there's something wrong with Don. Yeah! See that, Don? Now I feel sorry for the poor cab driver. Because I don't know what was happening. Because I know I was in the back of the car. I remember getting out the car, and the car speeding off down the road. I remember going into the house and falling flat on my face and saying, Lord, I need you to help. I believe like that demoniac. You know the demoniac coming to Jesus Christ? And he says, he saw him a long way, he fell on his face. But as he fell on his face, who spoke? The demons. That was me. That was me, people. So when I read the Bible, I said, oh, that's me. I understand it. And I spoke to Christ and I cried my heart out all night. Not all night, from about 3 o'clock. But at 6 in the morning, it is as though God came and went, get out. And clean me completely. Now, Sunday morning, I'm meant to go to the training. I've got lots of juniors to teach. So what do? I go to training. You all look strange, don't you? I go to training but with this grace. I take 99.9% of all of my weapons in a big bag. And I go to training with them. And I lay them on like this. I said, guys, come and take. Hey, what? You're giving away your weapons. You've collected them for ages. Because, yeah, no. I am giving up Kung Fu now. You could have heard a pin drop because I was known as Dragon D. Everyone knew me as Dragon D. If you wanted to know a Kung Fu form, come to see Don. I used to get about 5 o'clock in the morning in the park to train 2 hours before I go to work. And in 3 hours at night. Kung Fu. Kung Fu was issuing out of my 6 days a week. I have to have this type of fun. Praise Him. But then the Lord spoke to me, and by the time I met my wife, I think it was kind of. Yeah. What she means, I didn't go to the club. But the Lord took the desire out of my heart. However, I'm still struggling with it because I did it for over 20 years. And I'll say this to you: the Lord can give us victory over all sins. It's up to us whether we want to go back to the sin or not. With me, I thank the Lord because young men like you, I know what happened, because when I was a kid, there was hardly any martial arts in anything. But now, you got martial arts in TV program. You got martial arts in East End. I don't know what East End, I don't know. Brooks, I don't know. But in most of the films, every film's got martial arts, isn't it? Why? Because it's a pull. It's the attraction of having this extra external powers. And none of you would want to know martial arts, would you? Don't say anything. I see their faces is like, please don't ask me, don't ask me. But no, seriously, I know you all want to learn this stuff. But I'm warning you before you go down that road. It's a dangerous road. Some of the friends I trained with, 2 of them have died. And 2 were seriously injured through heart problems. And there's a theory that's arisen that we believe, based on some of the research we've done, it's the breathing exercises and the demons entering into these guys put the body under overstrain. Because one guy was able to run around the hall like this, without touching the floor, and then slip and slowly float down and hover over the floor. May I ask you a question? Is that or is it Satan? There's so much more I can tell you, but time is of the essence and I'm over my time. The one thing I want to leave you with is this: God delivered me from the clutches of the enemy. I went from Dragon D for Brother Don. And it was not an easy transition. Everything else the Lord has given me is pluses and pluses. One last thing I need to say. When I was going through that 1 year break, miracles upon miracles upon. I can remember when the Lord, I was homeless at the time, living in a hostel. I just got baptized in the August. By the end of September, I had a brand new flat.
Amen.
Brand new flat, as in brand new flat, just being built. I was given the address, I walked up and it was being built. Oh, we can't come in yet, sir. We've not put the windows in. Oh, yes. Moved in the October. In that flat, I had to pay my own way. I was in university. And I didn't want to be dishonest and claim benefit, get my rent paid. So I was working through university. And there are times I couldn't get jobs. So I would have to pray and ask the Lord for His blessings. And one day I prayed, the first time when I was running out of money, you know what the Lord did? He said to me, go and look in your green jacket. Mom knows a green jacket story. Green jacket. Now I know when I was poor, I was really not even 10 pence. What do you do when you run out of money? You go to every single bag, every single jacket, every single... Oh. Maybe get 2 or 3 pounds together. After doing that twice, there's no more money left. So when the Lord said, look at the green jacket, which was my special jacket, He said, no, come and look in the jacket, in the right pocket. £50. Okay. So I'm praying to the Lord, I need your help, please, I need your help. Go to the green jacket. Green jacket? Same pocket. So I pray again. And this happened continually. Sometimes the Lord would send people to give me money. Sometimes as I prayed, I would walk out and look on my mat and there's an envelope there, clean white envelope, open it, there's 100 pounds in it. This happened on many occasions. So when we come to the Lord does some spectacular miracles. I can go on and on, but I have to hold it back here and I realize I'm out of time. Brethren, please, put the Lord first, because I have found in the brief time that I've been with the Lord, yes, I know I can't say I'm squeaky clean young Christian anymore. 22, going on 23 years, I have found the Lord to be sweet than any other experience. So praise the Lord, thank you for your time, and if you've got any questions at the end, we will speak, but I'm meant to be doing the AYF as well. So we can do questions and answers then, but I want to go into another section as well. So by God's grace, you're staying. I'm looking forward to seeing you, speaking to you, fellowship with you. In Jesus' name. Amen.
It's all right. So make use of number 430.
Okay, we can talk later. Can we do the singing now?
430.
Oh, that we joy when the work is done, joy when the rivers gather, come, bringing the ships and send us unto the New Jerusalem. Joy, joy, and we joy by and by, joy, joy, and we joy. Joy,
I've shared a very small fraction of the experience I had to come to you to get to know who you are. I'm very thankful, Lord, for the fact that you look down from heaven and see a disgusted sinner like myself and have mercy upon me and brought me into your fold. I'm praying, Lord, for those who have not gone through these experiences but are still struggling with coming to terms and surrendering to you. So, Father, I'm begging and pleading that as we are here today, worshiping in your place of worship, we are asking you to cleanse us from any defilement from sin and to be in us, Lord, an earnestness to seek you with all of our heart, mind, soul, and strength. So, Father, as we go through the rest of this day, let us keep our conversations focused upon you. Let us not have idle words or idle tears. Father, we pray that we uplift you, King Jesus, above all things on this planet is my plea. In Jesus' name.
Alright, so stay around for lunch.